What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Creators Cut. If I sound a little sick, it's because I am, so please don't mind me. Today we're covering SeeMin, and I actually covered her in my newsletter that I started at the beginning of this year. And if you guys are interested, this is a great time to plug the newsletter. I release it weekly, and it's more for the cinematic creator. So if you guys are looking for, short films from other creators on the internet, filmmaking tips, things like that, please subscribe to the newsletter. It's once a week, weekly. You can unsubscribe at any time. And I spotlight creators on that newsletter. And then I decided, you know what? I loved her stuff. I'm gonna break down one of her videos. And some of you guys have actually asked me to cover her already. So two birds, one stone. So the video I'm covering today is why it's impossible to be behind in life. And I want to preface before we actually get into it that she works with a team, but she also does the writing and the editing. But I did want to shout out her team, the director of photography, lighting, and colorist, and then you got the production people on set, which is only like two. It's a small crew. What I want to do with this brand is really inspire people to get into filmmaking, be a little bit more creative, whether it is by yourself or within a small crew. And this video, I feel like, does just that. It's so well done and put together. Let's get into it, and make sure you guys, either before this or after this, you guys watch her video. I really feel like you guys should watch her video first before we jump into this breakdown, because there's some things that I had to go back and watch, and I was like putting things together and I was like, damn, this is so good. So sit back, relax, take some notes. Let's do this.
Hey, I'm SeeMin, but you can call me Min. And today's my birthday. I've had some difficult birthdays, like I lie.
10 seconds in, captivating. And this shot, when I first saw it, I was like, I wasn't even listening, because like visually it just feels so different. And it's because the background is distorted. It almost has like this weird fisheye, feels like a weird fisheye effect. If you look at it, none of the trees are moving. It's all still. And I was like trying to figure out how it was done. I felt like it could have been maybe generative fill on Photoshop. So what it is you take a screenshot of, this, and then you crop this out. You crop this out, and then you generative fill this until you get something that you like a still image. Add a little bit of a blur effect, and it almost has this like a radial blur, which is pretty cool. And because it's just her sitting in the back, that's the only thing moving. It really does something to you, because I think your brain automatically assumes like, okay, trees are moving, things like that. So it actually makes you focus on her so much more.
And today's my birthday. I've had some difficult birthdays, like I lie.
And then that part, the sound effects of her trying to get the lighter to work. And once it works, it matches right into the candles. So just very engaging the way she does this, or the way the team does this.
What's there not to love? Boy, do I miss the innocence of being a child. Because now, when birthdays draws near, it becomes a time where I take stock of the past year that has gone by. Fresh in
I want to talk about this shot and that slow moving pan to this mirror, because it's a lot easier when you have someone. If you're shooting by yourself, it's really tough. It's like almost impossible to do shots like this. But I want to focus on the time and effort it takes to do this, because this is not easy, especially if you're a beginner, because the concept and the things that you're talking about, and we'll get into the symbolism of everything later, but in terms of camera technique and movement, they would have had to figure out and run through the lines and then try to like block it out. So okay, the ending shot's going to be on you through this mirror. We're going to go into a shot of you with the cake, do your lines. I'm going to slowly pan to the camera, and then make sure that that is in focus. It's a lot of moving parts. It's really tough, but the shot is great. It stands out. Like this whole intro was crazy, and then it gets right into it with like a match cut of this same mirror.
year that has gone by. Fresh into uni, I thought this was it. Yeah, I was one of those kids who forced themselves to step
I love how the camera here is mounted on the outside, and even having the windows up. So you see like these cool little visual pieces of the signage. And you'll see this later on in the video as well with lights. but it just adds like this nice touch to it. Think about what it would look like with the window down, and that could also be a direction they went in because maybe the audio or the mics weren't as good when the windows were down because like there's so much outside noise. So they're like, hey, let's just roll up the windows. But me visually, I like the way that this looks.
Or at least I just didn't know how to uni. I was desperately trying to find something external that would fulfill me. At that time, it seemed like I was constantly racing against time because so much pressure was
Ooh,
put on knowing
okay.
what you want to do in life by the time you graduate.
So those three masking transitions where you're like covering the whole frame, it's a classic transition where essentially you're using the foreground and whatever's in the foreground that covers the whole frame, masks them out, and then reveal the next scene underneath. Essentially, when I say underneath, I mean underneath on the timeline.
Graduate.
Looking back, I was only 20. I don't need to have it all figured out. I even took a leave of absence for an internship just so I could buy time.
Oh yeah,
So the whole concept of the video, like here, she's going back in time and talking about her 20-year-old self at school, having this clone effect. And the way, if you guys are thinking of how it's done or how you could do this, there's like a lot of different factors. How I would do it is I would shoot a clean plate where, you're not sitting at all. It's just the tables, the desk, and everything like this. Then you have her come and sit down as another plate. You record for like 30 seconds, and then she does her lines in another frame. And then essentially what you do is you can crop her out, or you could crop her out depending on lighting situations, or you could do a split frame like this. That's not as like precise, but it still gets the job done in certain situations. However, if you're ever doing this during the daytime, it's tough because the sun actually moves. It has like, if clouds goes over the sun, it could look really different. And I actually even noticed it in an earlier shot.
I was
So
desperately
so here. See that? You see how this looks right in the top corner here? Just look at the grass, everything. It's hard to notice when it's going in real time. Now, this shot coming in, look at that side of the frame. Gets a little bit brighter. The grays, maybe a cloud goes over the sun. So it's really tough. So what they're doing is actually amazing because it just looks seamless. Doing any type of cloning or masking when you don't have controlled lighting, like the sun, really tough.
that was when I learned how to produce videos for the first time. Fun times.
So that flash sound and using elements like the lighter or the fire and the lighter into the candles, same element. Then it's like the mirror, the side view mirror, and then you have that flash on again, and then using this. So keep that in mind as we go forward. It's really cool that the team is like thinking of how to go from scene to scene.
I became a full-time temporary body artist despite my mom's disbelief. I thought I hit the jackpot because I found my calling so early in life.
I honestly
Hmm.
couldn't believe that people were paying
Even the idea. It's not a regular talking head where she's talking about her life. This could have gone any different way. She could just be in her bedroom talking about this, but the way they produced it, amazing. Her sitting talking about her art and then even having extras, like just sitting in frame, you know what I mean? And her just talking. Actually really feels like a film. I hope to see more of this style of filmmaking and video production over the next couple of years, and I think that's where we're going.
I was getting paid so much more than my peers and also getting
And you know what else I just noticed? You can hear the spool. It almost sounds like a film reel or a spool. I don't know if you guys know that sound. And it plays throughout some of these flashbacks, which is really cool.
I thought to myself, what more can I ask for? Famous last words.
2020,
Hmm.
an iconic year. Just like everyone else, the pandemic forced me to
So what I notice is the use of mirrors and how prominent it is in this video. Feel like because it's a video about her reflection of herself over the years, you always think reflection. Like I'm reflecting on my past self and life. What's a great symbol for reflection? Mirrors. So you see the mirror in the back. You see the side view mirror back in the intro. She used that mirror just before this, and then she's also talking in the rearview mirror here. So there's just a lot of cool. I feel like well thought out symbolism, and tricks that they've used. So good.
What is the meaning of all this?
The shadow side of my pining for recognition was from a lack of self acceptance. Just by accepting the fact that I did not love
Remember,
nor
I was talking about the reflections off the mirrors, the cars, just like that added little touch. Like you see the lights as the car is driving, and it's the reflection. This looks like it's at the back of the van, mounted and shooting through, and it just looks great. I think it's because it is in black and white, and then like it's just you really see the highlights of the lights.
That made me go for therapy.
If you really like focus, she changes clothes in a lot of these scenes, which is different. So from here, she's wearing something different than when she gets out here. And then even, the flashbacks, her in college was with the sweater. She was also wearing green. When she was doing art, she had that button up with like the cool designs on it. Wardrobe. Wardrobe is a thing that in film is very, very important because the way characters dress says a lot about them. You think about yourself too. So doing stuff like this is all amazing. I want to dive more into, these smaller production videos where there is a DOP, a colorist, a wardrobe stylist, set design. So if you guys do want to see more of that, please subscribe to this channel because I'm going to try to cover more of that stuff on here. Like that plug, I'm a YouTuber right now. That was a seamless plug right into it. Sub right now.
In order to evolve and grow, I have to throw myself in the unknown. And we have arrived at YouTube.
despite it not earning me any money now, I feel the most fulfilled I've ever felt since I was
Come on, man. This is a beautiful, like just so creative, the shots. I initially was like, this feels weird. Like, is this AI? Because like, did they like VFX these in? Because of how clean it looks. I think it just really stands out to me because, you start to think, how did they get into that cage? But if the lens is small enough and wide enough, you can actually fit it into, this square piece right here. It really stands out because it's lit. You could tell because it looks like a bronze cage, and it seems like the light is maybe a soft light on the camera or maybe behind. And then when it comes into it, she's lit from the side.
Arrived at YouTube.
You could tell here. So there's a light, you could see the highlights and then you could see the shadows, right? Her side of her face is lit. What I'm thinking is that the light is on the outside of the driver window shooting through the glass, maybe with like a softbox, because it still looks good. If you didn't have the light, it'd be completely dark. It'd be so hard to actually see her.
nothing ever happens by chance.
So that's interesting. I'm just looking at this right now, looking at the age and like understanding the concept of the video. The earlier clips of her, in school, doing all this stuff, starting her career as an artist, and then looking at the ages, I'm like, oh, cool. And then he has this piece right here at 25. That's like a very low point. And then here, I'm assuming now that's her age now. But then you start to think back at the video. I'm thinking, okay, 25, a low point. And I don't know if this is a creative decision that they made. Hopefully, if they see it, they can comment. That'd be great. But the part here where it's in black and white, and she's talking about the pandemic, which actually kind of fits in because that's 3 years. The choice to make this black and white and then seeing how that was the down year is a crazy, crazy idea and a crazy concept, right? Everything was
Sure.
good. What more can I ask for?
It's like everyone
She gets
saw.
into the pandemic year, which is maybe 25 for her, and it's in black and white. So only seen in black and white up until here. That's wild. I love that. I hope that's true. I hope these are the details the crew was thinking about because that's so good. And then it comes back to her here, and then I noticed what she's wearing, wardrobe, right? Think about wardrobe. This blue is my idea of her present self talking at 28 because this is also the wardrobe she used in the very beginning with the cake. So maybe now we get present time Min. Maybe. I don't know. Am I reaching? Maybe I'm reaching. But it seems pretty cool.
But the greatest gift we can ever give ourselves is a grand perspective. Because every rejection and every disappointment has led me here to this very moment.
I love how that cake is connecting us from the very beginning. So it almost like ties in the story.
as there were doubts.
I could look at the numerous times I tried something and didn't work out and think that I'm a
So masking the different bits, the different eras of her life, university, graduating, art, and then see still in black and white here. Cool.
maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't spend too much time worrying about the fact that you don't know your purpose in life yet. I don't think it's something that's set in stone. Since our concept of the self goes through so much rebirths and deaths in this lifetime alone, so what we should really focus on
Hold on. Wait a minute. You guys just are killing this video. If you guys are trying to figure out how you guys want to shoot this or how to shoot something like this, you essentially are shooting in different scenes, keeping the same distance and the same level with the camera. Center of the frame could be, I don't know, maybe you're just matching her eyes, her nose, standing in one place, looking left and right, going at the very exact same speed. Do this, was it 7 times? And then you just lay it on your timeline and then cut accordingly. If you are matching the same speed, it should match up perfect every time you cut a frame or a couple frames. But the nice touch is if you listen to it, you can hear the sound effect of a book. And I don't know if it was an idea that they had, maybe, but you think about your life, you think of it as chapters and things like that. Hearing that, which I think it is a book,
the self goes through so much rebirths and deaths in this lifetime
or Shutter, maybe even. But even just having that, it adds a little bit to it.
alone. So what we should really focus on is living out every present moment to its fullest. It's called the present for a reason. Happy birthday to us.
Wow. The idea of the cake talking about present, you think of presents at a birthday, the present time. And this whole thing is about her going back on life, but going from the present self to her past self and then into the future. What's next for her? Whole video just is so well done. So shout out to the cast and crew who just worked on this because this is the type of stuff that I feel like that I want to see for sure. So if this is stuff that you guys want to see, please like and subscribe. And if you guys like this video, please watch this one next. Be sure to subscribe to the newsletter. I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.